Hi and welcome to a new style of video. I'm currently trying to show some tricks and cool plays you can do with some certain cards. So here we have Ground Seal, Hall of Gemstone and Mana Mace. Let's begin with Ground Seal. The big idea is to maybe prevent cards like Flash, revealing Hulk and then finding Karmic Guide and trying to grab Hulk from the graveyard and return it to play. Ground Seal is preventing this, stopping this, being a stacks piece, but also comes into play and draws a card. So that's kinda cute. But there's one more thing about Ground Seal that I think is overlooked. Here we have the Gitrog monster. So the Gitrog monster's combo doesn't target cards in his graveyards. The cards in his graveyard is interacting with themselves or are all effects. Target all cards from your graveyard. This means that it's going to go past and ignore the Ground Seal. But one more thing is that Scavenging Ooze and Deathrite Shaman are cards that are good against the Gitrog monster. Sure, the Gitrog monster can get past these two creature cards by discarding a land card or sacrificing an additional land to get a secondary trigger to overlap this target effect. But sometimes when your opponent have too much green mana and maybe several opponents have more Deathrite Shamans in play, it is getting a bit hard to protect your combo. But with Ground Seal, you are protecting your cards inside your graveyard against cards like this. And I want to say one thing more, that there are more cards in the game that is targeting cards in your graveyard. So if you have Ground Seal in your Gitrog monster deck, you're both using it as an interaction against your opponents, but as well protecting your combo pieces. I might as well include that there are more cards in this game that is bypassing and getting past a Ground Seal. So you can play Ground Seal inside your deck, play Seasons Past and also Mission Briefing, because these two cards doesn't target cards in your graveyard, they choose cards in your graveyard, and that's a big difference. One more thing I want to say is that I do think that Rest in Peace is sometimes stronger than Ground Seal, but I kinda like Ground Seal. Ground Seal comes into play and draws a card. That's good. Now let's look at Hall of Gemstone. So Hall of Gemstone is one of that interaction against multicolor decks, making it hard to cast multicolor spells or several spells the same turn with different colors. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses a color and all lands on the entire battlefield will now tap for that chosen color instead of its normal color. So if you're playing a multicolor deck and you have a lot of monocolored cards, suddenly this will be mana fixing for you, as it will make sure that you have the right color for you to cast the spells you want to play. But an opponent is having a harder time casting multicolor spells and maybe can't even cast their commanders. So that is an interaction, a good card against multicolor decks, and are finding its way into, let's say, every single green deck. But there's one more thing about Hall of Gemstone that people might forget, is that it affects all lands on the entire battlefield. So on your turn, you say green. So now all islands your opponents control produce green mana, making it quite hard to cast counter spells. So you can attempt to combo off and win during your turn, making Hall of Gemstone protecting you in some form of semi-way. Maybe they have artifacts to produce blue mana, so they can get past this. But if they don't, their lands can't produce blue mana, so they can't cast counter spells. Alright, it's time for the king, the coolest thing there is, Mana Mace. So Mana Mace is a little bit worse version of Arcane Laboratory and Eidolon of Rhetoric. So these two cards are preventing players from casting more than one spell each turn. Mana Mace is trying to do a similar thing, making it hard to cast spells with the same colors. Players can't play spells that share a color with the spell last played this turn. But there is a trick to it. So there is something called Keep Priority. So here is the trick. Let's say that we cast Paradox Engine, and if this thing resolves, we will win the game. There's a Mana Mace in play. Currently this is colorless because this is colorless, but we will do a trick. So before we pass priority, because we predict that there's going to be a counter spell hanging around on an opponent's side. So what we do is that we keep priority, we cast Brainstorm in response to us casting Paradox Engine. suddenly this will now see that the last played spell this turn is blue. That means that you can't cast a secondary blue spell. No one can do it. So your opponents can't cast counterspell targeting Paradox Engine. Let me just quickly short and explain how priority works. So you are not allowed to cast anything unless you have priority. And if you are the controlling player, the active player, the player's turn, you probably have priority all the time. But when you want to have something resolve, anything, you have to pass priority and let your opponent interact with it. But unless you are passing priority, because that's an active choice to do, you say, I pass priority. I cast Brainstorm and I pass priority. The same thing with Paradox Engine. You cast Paradox Engine, but you don't pass priority. You cast a secondary spell. That's the trick. But sometimes you don't need to cast a secondary spell. Let's say that you have Mana Maze in play and you cast Flash and you have the Hulk in your hand. Now your opponents can't cast blue spell because this is seeing the currently last casted spell is blue from this. So now you can't cast interaction against Flash and Hulk will resolve. Alright, this is it of this video. I hope you learned something from this short little education. I hope you also enjoyed it, because I'm thinking of making more. Maybe making a playlist called Tricks and Cool Plays. And this is definitely some tricks you can do, but there are also cool plays that you can do in EDH, and I hope to showcase more of them. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.